Hi guys, welcome to Miami. I'm in Miami and this is my hotel room. We're going to talk about healing the gut. It's really the most important thing that you can do for your health and your body. If you want any kind of change or transformation, it literally is the most important thing. I'm going to put this video in my group. Okay. Oops. Oops. What am I doing? I really have been having major problems with my nails because they're so long. Okay, cool. Hi. So say hi if you're watching live. And we're going to talk about how long does it take to actually heal your gut. There's a lot to talk about when we talk about the gut, and it's literally just the most important thing, you guys, that you could ever pay attention to when we start to think about our systems of the body and our health and how our organs all work together. It's so important. And I actually have done a video called, I think, this almost exact same thing, but it was a few years ago, and the answer is, like, I think different now. Knowing what I know now, it's a better answer and a more inclusive answer, and just things that we have to understand. So when we talk about the gut, it can be different for each person, right? So regardless if you have a digestive problem or not, your digestive system and the way that it works for you, it's still so vital that you understand it, because when you do understand it, you will change the decisions that you make based on this, and you'll change the decisions that you make about food at all times of day based on this, and you'll change the decisions you make about food and the ingredients based on this, and it will clarify so many things that are often very confusing for people when it comes to, like, what to believe and, like, who to believe, and you know, what do I need to do. Hi Deanna, hi Jan. Welcome to Miami. This is my hotel room. Isn't it pretty? See that, I don't know, florals? Looks like trees in the background. The ocean's over here. If you've watched my Instagram story, I just posted my view, which it's not that great. Like, there's, like, dirty rooftop right here, but the ocean is there too. So, oh, you guys, yeah, you guys know each other, don't you? Friends on the chat. Okay, so how long does it take to heal the gut? That's what we're talking about. So if you have a gut issue, or if you don't, you still want to know how your gut works. Like, it is the hub. It is the hub of everything. It is the way that all food is processed. It is the way that all of the nutrients that you eat are sent out to the rest of your body, to all of your trillions of cells, to either get the nutrients that you're giving it, or they don't get the whole benefit of the nutrients that you're giving it. So one, we want to know what nutrients move food. That's funny to say because nutrients come from food, but we want to know what nutrients move food. What that means is we want to know what foods help us to be able to use all of our food. And so that in that way, there are certain foods and ways and types of foods that are healing to the gut and make everything more simple. I keep looking at my live clock and I keep seeing 222 and 444. The angel numbers are around. So when I used to do food sensitivity tests back in the day, like years ago, people would ask me this question, like as soon as they came to work with me, right? So they'd be like, Jody, how long is this going to take, basically, right? Because I don't want to be on an elimination diet for like a week or ever, and definitely not for my whole life, right? So they would want to know, how long is this going to take? And I was using that system of the blood test and the elimination diet. The protocol would go for like 3 months, and then we would reintroduce foods from like 3 to 6, and like the high reactive foods, I was taught to tell people that you can't eat those for a year. Now, that's so ridiculous, isn't it, right now? Because like, well, if I told them that, they probably would believe it, and then it would be true for them because they came to me as a trusted gut expert. And what you believe matters so, so much. So part of the answer to this question is it's kind of depends on how long you think it's going to take, right? But back when I was doing the food sensitivity testing, typically I would tell people, oh, well, you know, it's probably going to be 3 months or so of like following this kind of system. Now, the system, although I don't use it anymore, it did work because it was all whole foods. Now, do things work better now? Yes, 100% for sure. And that's because we're smarter about how to allow foods to move through the body with much more ease and without so much restriction. But really, I think you would probably guess that if you went to a diet that was all whole foods, that didn't contain any chemicals or additives or processed ingredients and that such type of thing, that you would be doing pretty well, right? Like your body would have to respond to that if you weren't doing that before, because it is fuel. It is what we're asking for. So, you know, the theory behind like, oh, how long does this take was more like linked around the concept that isn't actually correct about leaky gut and like how long does it take to heal this leaky gut situation? And remember, the gut isn't like torn. That's not what's happening. There's all kinds of different things happening, but you aren't like literally trying to repair something with collagen powder and bone broth, right? So it's more about knowing where your gut issues are and how they're interplaying with one another, and how your body is showing you things right now, okay? So the first thing to know is there is no such thing as time and space, really. You can heal in an instant. It's possible. And if you completely had that desire and you completely believed it and you had no resistance to it, meaning there wasn't any 1 ounce, 1 cell of part of you that thought, well, I can't do that, then you would. But we have that because we're human and we have been conditioned to believe a lot of things that the culture teaches that say, well, not just like, oh, you have to take 3 months to heal your gut or 6 months or a year or whatever, but that you can heal your gut, that you can heal all kinds of gut issues, not just gut issues. You can heal anything, right? But most people don't like just like blurt that out off the tip of their tongue, you know, of walking down the street, right? Like it's more of like a rarer thing. And not in my world, because I think like, duh, of course you can do that. Yes, you can do anything. But a lot of people would be like, oh, huh, what? You know, like that's why we go to doctors and stuff to get like a diagnosis, and then they tell us what's wrong, and then they tell us what to do, but they don't give us like the hope. And that's the hugest missing piece, right? That you have to know first that you can heal anything. So, and today we're just talking about healing the gut, which to me, in my mind, because I've been working with people on this for so long, it's like, yeah, of course you can. It's not even hard. It's not even difficult, and it's not really even that complicated. So I have a lot of empathy for people that end up in my world, and my job is to like be louder and be seen more so that people don't have to find me at like the last resort, you know, not last resort, but like, why don't we find things like this right away? That when we have like a body condition or a health condition that isn't going the way that we want, that we don't right away find and know to go and find someone that's like, yes, let's correct it, let's heal it, let's do what we know how to do. Okay, so when we talk about how long this takes, we always have to look at the practical side too. Okay, so practically, if you just thought about the physicality of something, you would say like, okay, excuse me, you know, like somebody who gets bloated once a week has a less severe gut condition than somebody who has like Crohn's disease or something like that, right? Because one is like just they're being bothered by symptoms at some level, and then the other example, it's like way more full-blown into a diagnosis, right? It doesn't mean that one's better than the other, that one can't heal and one can, not at all, because very likely if you have a condition like colitis or Crohn's or just chronic constipation and that kind of thing, it just means you did have that once in a while bloating at one time, but you just like bypassed it and you weren't quite aware of all of the symptoms. And that's really what happens, is they keep adding up until you do pay attention. And honestly, like sometimes we have way too much tolerance for being uncomfortable and being in pain before we start to take action, whether that's in our physical body or in our emotions as well, right? We just like take it. And we're not meant to be living like that. We're meant to be feeling good all of the time. So we have to pay attention to the physical side of things, because sure, like we need to do our part and we need to know what our part is to do. So if you know that you have something happening right here, you can't see it, but right here, Dalton does this when he says, please, mommy, but he usually does it on his tummy. I don't know if that's right or wrong in sign language, but if you have something going on right here, then part of the answer to this question, how long will it take, is how much and how committed are you? How willing are you to do the things that you need to do to help your body to heal? Because first of all, you need to know what's going on, and you need to have clarity around the situation. So you need to know, like, okay, why is my stomach like this? Why is my colon like this? Why is my gut like this? And then so you're seeking answers, right? And then you find somebody. Say you find me and you're like, okay, Jody knows about the gut. She's a gut expert. She's worked with all kinds of people with food sensitivities and different levels of digestive distress. And so she understands what's going on. Okay, so I believe her. She resonates with me. So then I teach you, right? And then I tell you, okay, well, if you really want to know what's happening, there are certain foods that are feeding the issue. And these are these foods, okay? And now you know. And now you can't not know. You can't be ignorant anymore. So part of the answer is, well, you know, how bad do you want it? Like, you're obviously not comfortable because you're seeking help. So how bad do you want it? And how willing are you to just get rid of the things that physically create the inflammation, that would make it stay around, that would make everything harder, that would make it just, you would just be like putting a stick in the wheel of your bike, like trying to ride your bike when you know this stuff and then you don't take action on it, okay? So you also have to be cooperating, I guess is the word, and be like willing to like do the work. And it's not always fun, right? To have to take away certain foods and to eat very mindfully and to pay a lot of attention. But honestly, it is required these days for every one of us to know what our food is doing for us or not for us, and is it helping us or not, and what's in it, and where did it come from, and what's on it, and is this pure? In general, we need to know that. So then you know, right? And so if you know, but you kind of kick and scream and you like kind of do it, but you don't really do it all the way, that's going to slow you down, because this is all energy and this is all momentum. And even when we're just talking about food, even if we bypassed the whole like emotional side, which we cannot do it, you would still agree, right? That like, let's say you want to lose weight and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to cut out sugar. Well, so then you like cut out sugar, but you don't cut it all the way out. So you're kind of slowing yourself down, right? Does this make sense? So you just need to know, like, how excited about it are you? And it really takes like being intolerant of the pain or the uncomfortable situation, and then also really wanting what you want and really wanting to be healthy and really wanting to always be healthy and to have the gut be working for you. Like, we need to expect that. We need to expect that our body can do that all the time for us. So you do have to be taking accountability for your role and saying like, okay, I'm so thankful that I understand this now, right? I'm so thankful that I know. I'm so thankful that this makes sense to me. I'm so thankful that I can do all of this good work with my food, and I'm going to do it because I believe in it. And the more that I believe in it, the more power that it has, and the more energy I put behind my belief and faith and intention, the faster I will heal. Okay, so, and then when you have that predominant thought pattern, it's so easy to just do what you need to do too, right? Because your actions are driven by how you feel. And so if you feel confident and you feel certain or hopeful, aren't you going to be way more likely to do the things that you know you need to do than if you go see someone, let's just say, and they're like, well, you can't do anything about this. Then how motivated would you be? Well, you would not be motivated, right? If you believe them. So basically what I'm saying is we need to shift the entire world to think that of course we can heal. Of course our body knows how to heal. We need to do our part. We need to be active participants with our food. And if anyone else tells me that I can't heal, I'm going to immediately know that they are not correct, and I'm going to leave their aura. Does this make sense, you guys? And really, it just takes as long as it's going to take. And we don't ever know exactly what that time frame is for any one person. But I can tell you this. You have to be willing to do it for as long as it takes, because you're not ever going to give up, right? And if you really did believe and you really did trust and you really did have the faith in it, then you would keep going, right? Because that's what faith is anyways. It's believing when we don't see. And just like it took the amount of time that it took for your body to come to the state where you would say, well, I don't have a healthy gut, or I have a digestive condition, or I have this disease in my body. However long that took, that stuff was going on under the surface for you too, where you weren't holding faith for disease, but you just weren't aware, right? So this is all about awareness. So if we can remember, like, well, this had to take some amount of time for this to show up like this for me in my body. And it is showing up for you. Everything is happening for you. It's not happening to you. Your health condition is a blessing because it has woken you up, right? And to each person, it's going to look so different. So I can't say, well, everyone's health condition is a blessing because of this, but it is a blessing because it's making you aware. It's making you pay attention to your body. It's making you pay attention to how you're treating yourself, to how you're eating, to how you're not eating, to how you're hydrating yourself or not, how you're moving or not, how you're loving yourself or not, the words that you're saying, the mind chatter or not. And then who knows what else it's going to lead you through or to in your life. But, you know, if I never had a health condition, I would not be here today telling you these things, right? I would not know anything that I know today. I would not have had to know this. I would not have had to become passionate about this. I wouldn't have had to figure it out, you know, and like have that faith for my own self to not listen to what most people said and just be like, okay, well, I guess I need to accept my unhealthy, bad feeling body. No, I'm not doing that, and I never will do that. I don't want you to do that either, unless you like having an unhealthy, unwell body. But no, you don't. Nobody likes that because it's not who you are. It's not your natural state. None of us are supposed to be sick and unhealthy. It makes us feel bad, right? Like we're supposed to be thriving. And it's finding that way back. It's finding that way to let the body have the ability to heal and to do what it needs to do. So it really is keeping your mindset really, really strong and knowing that you're going to keep believing and you're going to keep doing it so that whatever this time frame was that got you to the point where your body tipped. So this is the tipping point thing that I talk about all the time. Your body tipped, but it didn't go the way you wanted it. It went downhill, right? If you consider like inflammation and such. It went downhill into symptoms. Now, we don't need to know what that time frame was. We just need to know. My headphones just died. Can you hear me? I just got these. I like them a lot, but they started to make weird sounds. We don't need to know what that is. We just need to know your work is to go up the scale and tip it again. And sure, it can be harder when you're at the very bottom, but knowledge is power. Clarity is power. Knowing what's going on actually is power. And then understanding your role and knowing what the food will do to help you and then keeping on doing it. That's power. That's all going up the hill. That's all climbing the scale and going to the direction that you want to be going. So you just keep going. And as you go and day after day, it's that fast, you guys. When you take away things that don't work in the body and then you put in the good and then you put in the good emotions, the positive emotions of expectation, faith, hope, and belief, and you keep doing it and you stay in integrity with it, everything will add up very, very, very quickly. So you're pulling momentum of where you want to go and you're backing it up with what you do. You're doing what you say you're going to do and you're doing what you know to do. And that just breeds confidence and the body does respond and it responds to positive emotions that are repeated over and over and it responds to foods that are put in over and over and over. And so then you just basically you're climbing a scale, a hill, and you're doing everything you can with the way that you feel, what you believe, what you choose to know, what you choose to trust in, and your steps and your actions because now you get it and now you understand and now you know that you are a contributing factor. And so you keep doing it and you keep going up and then you hit the tipping point again and you start to go down and cascade down and you feel it. And just because you might not have hit the complete healing tipping point right away, it doesn't mean you won't feel relief right away. Like I can tell you, sometimes people ask me things like, well, how long does it take to see your body change? It's sort of the same question, right? For like this, how long does it take to heal the gut? Well, the body out here, like we can see our skin, we can see our eyes, we can see our legs and arms. We can't see inside, like we can't see our stomach per se. Some people can. The way I experience it is more of like a feeling or a knowing of what it is when there's a certain kind of symptom happening. So, but because not everybody does that or has that, like we just see our whole self, right? And the body is the first thing to respond, you guys, in the physical. It is so, it's so listening to you. It's so responsive. And so if you ask the question like, how can I get my body to respond to me so that I get this outcome? My answer is, it is responding to you. Exactly. It's exactly responding to you. And it's responding to your actions. It's responding to your inactions. It's responding to the food that you're eating or not. And it's responding to the thoughts that you're thinking. And often it's because we go back and forth so much that the body can't go anywhere because we're so contradictory in our behaviors. And it just wants you to like know the answers and then go and let it do its thing. So we get out of the way and we stop contradicting ourselves, and we allow the energy to flow into healing and to transformation when we get it. Like we're like, okay, I understand my body, I understand my symptoms, I understand my digestive system, I understand my gut, and yeah, I'm going to keep staying out of the way by playing the game. I'm going to keep doing these things now that this makes sense. Like when I teach these foods do this, these foods do that, now you know. So what are you going to do? So you keep doing it, right? You keep doing it, and then that's momentum of energy as well. So you're climbing back up that hill till you hit your positive tipping point where the results just seem so effortless, right? And you're doing the same things you did at the bottom of the hill, likely. Maybe you're doing a little bit more because now you're into it and now you love it. And you're like, give me another green juice. I can juice all day long. You can, you don't have to. I'm just saying, like, the things that you're doing at the beginning of your healing or the beginning of your weight loss, they're going to look very much the same as you do when you're there. But the results will change at faster speeds when you have kept backing yourself up by keeping on doing them consistently and faithfully, and believing in what you're doing consistently and faithfully. So, you know, there's a lot of coaches and like fitness trainers and stuff that like teach nutrition and exercise that don't talk about the mindset and belief. But what really is happening when people get those results is that they are building their faith by their action. And I'm just saying, like, how much more powerful is it when we do that, when the complete understanding of the internal workings of our body and food, how it pairs together and plays together, and we start adding in this work of our mind and our energy of belief and knowing and faith day after day. It just, I mean, your potential is so good. So good. So I don't know how long it will take. I can tell you the body responds very fast. It is the most responsive. It is the most receptive, and it will show up for you what's happening quicker than you can like create $10,000, because it's you and your body and your cells are responding so quick. So if you want to know what's happening in your body, just look at your body right now and look at what feels hard or stuck or unhealthy or inflamed, and ask yourself some questions about it. What must I be believing right now about this? What do I think I believe about this? What do I need to believe in order for this to change? And if you've already worked on through some of this stuff and you do know now and you are taking those actions and you just keep doing it and you just keep on believing it and be certain of it, that's all you can do is what that you know to do. And that's amazing, and that's enough. And we just need to keep doing it and expecting that it will work. And I think that the expectation of healing and the expectation of transformation, it helps when you know science too, right? Like, that's why I like understanding the digestive system so much, and how proteins and carbs and fats work, and how different foods work, and how the gut works. It just makes sense to people, right? It's just like when people can explain manifestation and quantum physics by science and all these studies, people are like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Well, but you don't actually need to know that, but it does help. So the gut can heal very quickly. So let me tell you a couple examples. So one of my first clients I had when I did the food sensitivity testing with the diagnosis was, I'm pretty sure, IBS, which is a blanket diagnosis, right, for lots of gut issues that, you know, are uncertain. It just means like stuff's not working in there. She, I remember, was like, she wanted to lose weight and her stomach hurt all the time, and she came to me, and she was one of my first clients, and she came back in and she's like, Judy, oh my God, I lost 7 pounds this week. And you know, that's what happens when you take away inflammatory food. So like her gut was responding very quickly, right? Because there was a lot of things probably that she was doing or eating that weren't helping. And so in that situation, yeah, like it will show you in a week. Of course it will. Like, do you know what even happens in a whole day of you consistently following through? And then you just add another day, and you add another day, and you add another day. So that was one. And then, I mean, I've had other clients where they would do, this is what's interesting, and you guys can think about which one you think you are. So typically people will either be like, have like a chronic condition, but they'll do all the work with the food, right? Because they want to just fix it. So they'll be really compliant and like follow through and do what I say and teach. Not that I'm like being a bossy, or I am bossy, but like I'm just telling you, like, this is what's going on. Here's what your part is to do. And then they'll do it. And then they will still need to go inside to find out, well, where did this come from in the first place? And what do I actually need to know to heal this and to know that it gets to be healed? Or there'll be people that will just be like so resistant to making the changes in health, like with the food. And that's for other reasons too, right? Because like maybe you think it will taste bad, or you'll feel deprived, or any number of things. But so the first step is to get yourself to take the actions with the healthier diet, and to know that that is essential and so beneficial, and it will lead you to a faster transformation than if you didn't understand this and if you didn't know this. But then also to know, like, you don't have to be stuck to an elimination diet or stuck to a restrictive diet for life. There's so many ways we can eat food today that are really healthy, good, delicious, and healing. So just remember that, like, this is not deprivation. This is not punishment. This is just being really smart and being really aware of how all of that we are and all of that we feel and all of that we think plays into our health, and then being willing to reverse it and to take it back to where we want it to go, okay? So if you guys have gut issues, if you have inflammation, if you have like confusion around food, then I want to remind you that my Fueled and Focused course is open. We're starting at the end of this week, and then I don't know when I'm going to run it again. So check it out now. You can message me if you have questions, but what it is basically the protocol that it takes to shift things around from the inside out. So yes, we focus on the gut. We focus on healing foods, the healing foods protocol for healing the gut so that you can maximize the effects of everything else that you eat. And I'm teaching you how to eat and live and maintain a plant-based diet, which is really what is in integrity with what the body wants and needs long-term, okay? So it's not like we learn all this stuff about food and the gut and digestion, and then we want to go back to eating like cheeseburgers every day, right? That doesn't make sense. Not that you can't eat a cheeseburger ever, but it's not sustainable, right? Long term, and it's not actually what you'll want anyways. So it's teaching you how to do this plant-based diet with food formulas that actually the body's very happy to have, that make everything simple and easy, but with loads of nutrients for you, and filling, delicious, and nourishing, and all of the good stuff. So let's see. I'll put this link in. But hurry up and get in if you want to join us, because we're starting. Okay. And there's a payment plan, so it's only $497 for 6 weeks live coaching with me, and or 2 payments of $297. So, oops, I'm trying to pin this. There we go. Pin. Okay. So let me know if you have questions, check it out, and just know we work on the gut first. It's so essential for health. It's so essential for nutrition and for transformation, and knowledge is power, okay? Talk to you guys later. Bye.